Chris, Greg, ITC, hello all of you. Nothing interesting today. I just got a iPhone 6 to get out of the way. McDaniels, oh my goodness, don't even say that. They eat nothing like Scottish. Nothing interesting, just got this IP6 to get a screen replacement, and then I've got a laptop which I think is a HP that has an exploded hinge on it, or it looks like that. Okay, shut this down. There we go. I have a feeling this wasn't misbehaving because of the cracks here. I think it was misbehaving because this is an aftermarket screen, one of the cheapest ones. And I think it's just sort of over time become a bit dud. But to be fair, I told the person 6 months ago that that would likely happen. But there were budget constraints at the time, so they went that way and lived with it. It's only just started misbehaving. Yeah, definitely one of mine. I can see all the marks in it. TriStar practice time, you wish. I do need to just, like I said, I'm fine with the 5S, the 5C, and I'm just going to get around that corner shield of the 6S. It's just, yeah, I'll get there, Chris. I'll get there. I really want to get those shears that I showed you. I feel like that'll help a lot. Crop the chat better. I see your status bar. Oh, shame. What do you want me to do? What's wrong with my status bar? Yeah, let's see. But then you can see what I'm typing. I can't win. Now let me try something different. You're a picky fellow. Now look what you've done. Shrunk it. Oh, son of a gun. Son of a gun. Oh well. It's a bit complicated, Chris, because I'm switching between the MacBook's Retina screen, and then I'm trying to drag it over to the cheap, nasty, actually it's not, I've got a Dell 17-inch 4.3 screen. And so what's happening there is that the MacBook correctly rescales everything, but Open Broadcaster doesn't realize that it's because of a screen change, and it just shrinks the pixel count down proportionally, and it just makes things a bit of a mess. Anyway, stop being so picky. This should be pretty boring, I hope. I like boring screen repairs because they're quicker and it's less drama for me. But the hinge repair on the laptop, that's going to be fun. I have a feeling it's a HP. I can't quite remember. I've already forgotten. I've got a real problem when it comes to forgetting things. The number of people who drop something off in the morning, come back in the afternoon, and I have no idea who they are. I'm fine at remembering other things, but when it comes to humans, I'm like, no, don't remember you. Cats I remember. Hey, Cryjay. Chris, I got the schematics and stuff for the iPhone 7 as well. I'll have to... Hey, I'm missing a screw. I wonder what happened there. I think I know what happened there. Because it's a cheap screen, I think it's slightly out of alignment down the bottom corner here. And when I had the screw in there, it caused the bruising effect, or the hotspot effect. And so I just left it out, just to relieve that pressure off it. I'll just have to put it back. And I spoke today to the machinist who I'm going to get to replace the shafts on this microscope. And they said we can just try using some bright steel or stainless steel rather than case harden. See how that goes. Weird, I thought I heard my door open. Why are you not coming out? There you are. You're just... Oh. I'm an idiot. There we go. Okay. If you need, I've already got the schematics, Chris, but thank you. I've got them for the 7 and the 7 Plus, and they're fully searchable schematics too. And they're all mine. I am starting to face a bit of a emotional crisis here. Now, as 99% of you know, I wrote some of Open Board View, and I like to use Open Board View, but because I cannot decode yet, or haven't written yet, the decoder for the PCB binary files that people are distributing the iPhone board views in, I may have to get ZXW, which also means, as a double insult, I have to install Windows on a machine and use Windows. Now that's really painful. I'm not sure whether I want to do that. But on the other hand, I'm also going to have a lot of pain for not being able to have board views. I mean, the schematics are okay, and the integrated parts layout they have on there is okay, but it's just not the same as having a proper board view. Hey Jonathan, working on a phone and a frying pan because the battery has 2 holes in it. Wow! Those things can be nasty. Although I do find with the iPhone batteries, you've got to abuse them pretty hard to get them to fire up. Hello Ant, what are you doing there? Move. So, yeah, they're a risk, but they're not as bad as what it used to be in the old days. Where's my scissors? Yeah, exactly. That's how I feel about Windows. Like, much rather stay with macOS or Linux. Thank you very much. As I said the other day, these repairs, they're fairly boring, just doing screen replacements and whatnot, but it is, it's your bread and butter income around here. And since I don't have any competition anymore, at least not locally, it is worth my while doing them. Why isn't that sitting in nicely? Because you've got a chunk of junk. That's why. And just because I don't have any competition in town doesn't mean I can slack off or anything or start charging through the roof. Because there is the major city is only an hour and a half drive away. And most of the people in this town do drive there periodically. So if I upset the locals, they'll just start going into Townsville. And then the Powerpuff Girls will come along and kick my ass. But I do need to set up my mail ordering a bit better and get ready for that more. I just have to write a couple of extensions on my existing shop accounting software. Right. Auto files, best not stab. Chris Jesser also commented that given the damage to the iPhone 7, it is also, as you said, most likely going to be a RAM fault. I mean, I hope that you're both wrong, not because I want you to be wrong for the sake of being wrong, but just simply because it'd be nice to give this person their data. But it certainly must have taken a fair hit, because I noticed that the alloy that they use for the iPhone 7 chassis is quite a lot more resistant to being bent than the earlier models. So when it did hit the wall, it must have, if you could watch that in slow motion, that must have bent one heck of a lot for it to rest back to where it is now. You can just sort of imagine in slow motion and close up all the balls on the BGA chips quivering and shaking like jelly, and a few of them cracking. Okay, that's good. At least I managed to open it up without busting it, because I know that these are done in reverse to the, well, different way. Where is it? I put it through my panel press, and it sort of, it's a bit hard to see, but let's see where we go. You can sort of see the bend around about here. It's a little less than what it was. It's still pretty bad. I've got parts coming tomorrow, and if they don't give me any sign of anything, then I know I'm in for a fun ride. RAM issue on the iPhone 7's common. Oh, you got your first set of milling bits. That's good. Yeah, I'm excited to see how that goes for you, Chris. I saw the Russians doing it a couple of years ago with the milling of the parts off the board. The only thing I worry about is the vibration problem. Do not drill CPUs with them. Yeah, I worry about the vibration on those milling out to parts. Particularly if your spindle isn't going fast enough. Hopefully they give you a good spindle motor and spindle. Hopefully it doesn't have too much slop in the primary shaft. I haven't been given a long screw damage phone yet either for the microscope. I know there was one customer I had about 2 years ago, and their friend, or was their friend, tried replacing the screen, and they long screw damaged it. And we pretty much had to, I couldn't do anything about it then. I could barely even see that it was long screw damaged. I'm kind of thinking I might go back through my messages and try and find that person and see if they want to bring it in. It'll all be long gone, useless data by now, but I'm more curious. It'd be nice to have an example of long screw damage to work on. Alright. Hey, deadbolts. Another rectal exam. Oh my goodness. Are you running just straight lenses, or you got a Barlow on that? Almost midnight, still checking stuff out. Yep, that's how it goes. Oh, this seems like it's alright. It's got a little bit of it. Yeah, it's good. CNC is going to be used to get close, and then right, okay, then okay, so basically it's going to knock off most of the epoxy housing. Alright, looks like good. Yep. Cancel. Okay, that looks good. Better put the bottom screws in. And then we can move on to this laptop. Chris, are there any tricks with the iPhone 7 getting the main board out that I have to watch out for, or is it pretty much usual sort of thing, just take your time? Are there any traps? Game set up with 90 by, but I have the... Okay, so you got both, you got the 2 by and the half Barlow. Okay, let's just do a quick cleanup and let's zoom out a little bit. Dunk, dunk, dunk. And let's adjust this a bit more. That'll do. Hey, Wiltec. Yeah, it does take a while to first see the board. You got to just trying to get your eyes to line up with the optical output, and then also getting your brain to get used to the reversing of movement to counter that the black field effect. And once you've got that down, then yeah, I find it's obviously different for everybody. I find it best if I can rest the bridge of my nose on the underside of the rubber on the eyepieces. Other people prefer to sit way away from it. Everybody's eyes are different, so I suppose everybody does it differently. Okay, let's get this laptop. May as well leave that there. Yeah, it's a HP. Alright. Alrighty. Yeah, that looks slightly nasty. Just a little. There's my screwdriver. Well, at least this one I can get to the hard drive. Come on, out you come. There we go. Yeah. Okay, so it's good that you found a spot that you can get used to. Are you a slider? No, you're not a slider, you're going to be a lifter. Good scotch is my painkiller of choice. This will need a new top case. No, it won't, Chris. No, no. All it's going to need is judicious application of JB Weld everywhere. Come on. Come on. There you go. Tricky little bastards. I don't like pulling too aggressively on these rubber drive housings. Oh. Sometimes you got to. I don't want to. Sometimes I just get stuck due to the age and the rubber starting to become slightly adhesive. No, I've got to get you out in order to get you out. There we go. So right on the threshold of tearing that rubber in half. Hard drive safe. That's good. Do we need to... Probably don't need to do that. Okay, enjoy the rest, deadboards. Glad that you got your microscope. Seems like we're all getting microscopes these days, thank goodness. Right, screws completely gone in that. We've got some screws all through here. That's missing. This is going to be fun. You never need to touch your, because there's no need for the rubber. I guess it depends on your vision. I found if I am not touching those eyepieces with my nose bridge or something, then the field of view for me is too narrow. Should I just... no, whatever. Made your eyes sweat. Gee, I don't think your eyeballs are supposed to hug the rubber things. Depends which ones you get too. The ones I've got, they are not the shaped ones, they're just the like plain rings, as opposed to those ones that sort of wrap around the side of your face. Straight down, oh, that's going to be brutal. I think a 30-degree head, or just a variable, adjustable head would have been nice. I don't know how the optics would go for that. Okay, we've got a hidden screw here. Is this a hidden screw? You guys can't see this, but I think it's a hidden screw. Why are they still playing these tricks? Yep, there we go, hidden screw. Why would they do that? What's the point? Maybe it's a smooth brain test. Let's just hope I don't fail the smooth brain test here. Got another one there. Beats the heck out of any known Chinese use. Oh yeah, oh god, yeah. Yeah, this is gonna be fun. Let's see if I can hold down the. Find if I can keep pressure on the back hinge. When I lift it up, it stops it causing too much. Oh, that's not even holding up. This is a slide back keyboard, I think. No, it's a, so this one's a inverted bathtub design. Get this out of the way. You're better with a jeweler's loop than a USB microscope. Yeah, I considered that. I actually bought one of those magnifying headsets. Can't say they did much for me. I tried about 2 or 3 times and gave up in disgust. That was while I was waiting for the microscope to arrive, and I was getting desperate. Yep, you bastards. I had a feeling they would do that. Given that they covered up the other screw, it's no surprise to me that they decided to do the dirty old under the foot screw trick. The 400Z, that's that fixed 1020 down looking one, isn't it? I was almost tempted to get one of those when things were getting really tight in terms of finances and whatnot, but fortunately, I got saved by the glory of YouTube, so thank goodness for that. Geez, I got parts falling out. I've got another put screws under here too. Nope, they didn't. Something's got itself in a bind over this side, which doesn't overly surprise me given how smashed up this is. No screw under the Windows sticker? No. As it's a HP laptop. And it's got destroyed hinges. There we go. Make sure I don't rip that. Oh, you little lousy. Why would they do that? Okay. Alright. Looks like the fan needs a rework. Jessa is on again, picking on Lewis. Oh, she's on? God damn it. I just started here. What's she picking on Lewis for this time? What'd you do? Poor sweet Lewis. Poor sweet Lewis. He enjoys it. Yeah. I might pull the... It's going to be awkward because the hinge damage, it's part of this, looks like this fan assembly as well. I'm probably going to have to take everything out and see how it all goes back together. What have we got here? That's ruined. This one could be a little more complicated than I want. That obviously belongs down there. And it was glued. It's not anymore. Hostile to... Oh, she's pretending to be in Lewis's store, is she? He always gives her the one dislike. I can understand that. I mean, whenever I watch Chris's streams, I do my best to do my Australian patriotic duty and give Chris a little bit of a difficult time. It'd be rather un-Australian if I didn't do that. Okay. This isn't budging, which makes me wonder if they... there's the screws on the top side of this fan assembly that I've undone. But it's still not in the mood to move, so I'm wondering whether they've also put them on the bottom side, from underneath. Now normally... no, there we go, we've got... Well, that's nicely caked up. I kind of wish this was just in here for overheating issues. Let's see, look at that. Well, look at that. That's a nice chunk of lint there. I can make a blanket out of that one. Weird. We've got... oh, that hurt. That looks like some sort of liquid on the multi-IO. Looks like old flux or something. I've never worked on this one. Alright. I'll be honest, I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to go about this one. It is different to what I'm normally used to. Just sub because of Chris' chat on iPad. Thanks. At TCRS you had one of these. Let's see what's going on with Jessa. Oops, sorry. Alright, hey Christos. Laptops are slowly becoming obsolete. Well, I'll debate that. I mean, they said that about a decade ago when we started getting tablets. And they said the end of the laptop is nigh. And then we got like the little netbooks. They were pretty awesome. And it never happened. The same with the PCs. Everyone kept saying, it's the end of the PCs. Yeah, it never happened. But I think my big fundamental issue here is that, and Chris is going to love this, is that the top deck is damaged, the actual metal frame is damaged, which means it's very difficult for me to get in and rebuild it, because the plastic body I need to at least get some part of, oh there we go, it needs to bond in there, and I'm not sure how good a grip I'm going to get. But this is colossally bad. I don't even know where this thing goes. How's it going? What's wrong with the laptop? Cues, it's this whole section got smashed. Ripped the hinge mount straight out of it. And yeah, it's going to be... I guess I can just flood it with JB World and see how we go. Surfaces are nice. Yeah. I think my brother-in-law has one of them. I sort of wonder, what is the point of a Surface when you can get an Ultrabook? So, I mean, I'm sure there's a legitimate reason, use and stuff like that. I'm just not sure myself. Personally, I am very much a desktop person. I do not like to be without my desktop. Now, I'm really unsure of where this little guy goes. Sure, it goes somewhere. I'm looking on the other side for a comparable matchup, but they're extremely different from each other. Now, I don't know whether it sits on the underside. I don't think it does. It's like a bloody puzzle. What have we got here? Oh, I know where it's from. It belongs up here. And in theory stops the screw head from pulling through, which it did not this time. So I'll glue that back on, flood this with JB Weld. It's going to be fairly tentative. I'm not going to have a huge amount of confidence in it. We'll give it a whirl. I imagine replacement top decks on this are going to be quite expensive. More than what the person is willing to spend. Yeah, Greg, when I looked at the other hinge, it's very different in terms of its engineering, its design, so I can't make a comparison. But at least we found where it belonged, that piece. Fan still spins okay. Get rid of this blanket off the radiator. Yum, yum, yum. It's even got pieces of shattered plastic in there. I should get a compressor, a small one. I've got a big one, but it's a little bit useless and cumbersome to put into the workshop. So I was thinking maybe you can get like little 3-litre or half-gallon, whatever you want to call compressors, around about this big, and they've got a little tank underneath them. Surface does the job when away from the desktop. The specs on the new Surface are crazy. ICs, US plastic, interchangeable parts on the laptop. I mean, I don't know. Look, to be fair, I've never been a big laptop user myself anyway. I always found them completely awkward, a bit too compact. I mean, I like my desktop with my 2 or 3 screens and my IBM keyboard. And that's just the way it is, and I'm going to grow my beard really big and complain about everything and yell at the birds on the grass that keep eating the seed. Anyway, grumpy old man, if I'm not already anyway. Had one of those small compressors, easy to carry in with the handle. Okay, the Dell XPS i7 has not even been used for months. I would only use it for something like video editing. I mean, I must admit, I'm using a laptop right now. I mean, this here, it's a MacBook Pro. But I will be changing that to probably a desktop machine. Simply because, I just prefer it. And then I can add in a capture card. And I know I can get external dongles for capturing HDMI. But I'd prefer to have something like the Magewell 2 or 4-port capture card built into the machine. Just the options are there, that's the nice thing. Alright, well, given that I've got to go and do some paperwork, things like that, and given the amount of work, I'm going to have to take the main board out. I don't want to go putting I don't want to go putting JB World down here and risk getting this mainboard stuck onto the JB World. So I have to take that out, and I've got until tomorrow before the person comes back for it, which is good because the JB World, you need to let it sit for at least 12 hours, preferably 24, before you start yanking at it and doing things with it. You will regret it otherwise, because what will happen is it might hold for a few minutes or a few times, but you will weaken the bond considerably. So yeah, if you can hold it for 24 hours, that's really good. I have a Kensington dock for the SB3 Surface Pro, right? Okay. Two 24-inch. And it's just, that's the trouble. You've got to still have all these bits and pieces attached to it. But like I said, yeah, a lot of people obviously like laptops because, I mean, I probably have 10 laptops for every desktop that I do. So I'm on the wrong side of the popularity game here. Okay. How are you sitting? You're not a flip top. No, where are you? This here, it's an FPC connector, but it's not a flip. Where is it? Where are you? Gotta be careful with these FPCs connectors, because they can, like, you can think it's a flip, and it's not, and you flip it up and all you've done is broken it. I need to look at this under the microscope. It is genuinely ambiguous. Ah, put on the microscope. Focus. Just, it is a flip. It's just a very tough flip. Gotcha. Thank you, microscope. Geez, I've got enough cables on this thing. Get your dice. Oh, we're gambling for whether it was a flip top or not. Well, I spent about $100 today just on getting tweezers and side cutters. It's kind of annoying that all the equipment I used to use is just too big for the stuff I'm doing now. Too big or too beaten up, that's the other option. Well, particularly when it comes to side cutters and things like that. My side cutters are just, they're wire strippers now, they don't cut. Ah, you bastards with your obsessive cable tendencies. Yeah, people bag out Apple and whatever for repair difficulty and whatnot, but really, I'll tell you, PCs and Androids really do take the top prize. There's no consistency, and if you can save a buck or two here, then that's what they do. it's all hodgepodge. There's no... Yeah. RAID array of SD cards. Anyone remember someone did a RAID array of floppy disks, 3.5-inch floppies? Or am I too old? Yeah, I remember that. I think it was on a Mac too. Okay. And we're out. There we go. Here's alright, that way somewhere safe. Yeah, 1.4 per disk. Maybe it was like, I think he started with just 5 of them. I'm pretty sure if you Google, you'll find it. It was pretty hilarious to see it done. It was one of those cases of doing it for the sake of doing it. Certainly improved the speed of the disk access. Get this little daughter board out. Again, have to be careful with this little daughter board where it sits in. There's not a lot of, they're a clip-in sort of tight tolerance interference bit along with the screw to retain it. So if my JV weld leaks out too much, it could interfere with that. Fortunately, it is only the on-off switch. So push come to shove, I'm sure we can find a way around making sure it works. I mean, it's just a simple tactile switch. Alright. I'm going to have to jigsaw all this stuff back together. Put the screw back in here so that I don't have to lose it. Okay. For a Bundy Red and shrimp on the Barbie. Well, I'll make it 2 shrimps on the Barbie since I'm long since given up the pleasures of fermented juices. Yeah, I think I might leave that in there. Jesus, it's hard. 2 quid. Do you guys prefer to say quid or pound? I guess it's sort of like us saying buck or dollar. Try reminiscing on 50 bits a second, no thanks. Just trying to get these captive nuts out. Okay. Make sure you don't grab the nuts too hard. Oops, that's what happens. Pliers slide off and it's nothing but pain. Okay, that's a short one on the outer Come on. Come on. Fold down, you bastard. Alright, there we go. We finally got a proper sit-in. Yeah. Have to reassemble that now. Oh, sorry, euros. I apologise. Yeah, I know that's euro, and yet for some reason I thought it was... Yeah. That was definitely a smooth brain moment. I apologise for that, Cormac. Euros it is. Alright, I'm going to have to finish up here and come back to reassembling this a little bit later. I've got some other things I need to get sorted out, some paperwork because it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon, the bank's about to start closing up at 4. Unfortunately I do have to do administration work here as well, which means keeping all the bank accounts and all that floating right. But at least we've gotten to the point now where this folds down properly, the parts are there, so I'll reconstruct the little bits of plastic where I can and put the captive nuts in there and then reflow JB World. I am going to have to come up with a way of bordering off this section here, because otherwise it is going to flow in onto this push button area. I mean, it's just a flappy bit of plastic, but I don't want it binding. So oh well, should be good. Should be able to do it. Just took a bit of work, a bit more than I'm used to. Parents bitching at you because they're waiting on... Oh yeah, Steve, I remember those days. Yep. Yeah, I got into big trouble once with that because someone missed out on a contract because I was too busy checking out the local BBS and trying to find something interesting amongst all the Simtel data that they've downloaded from somewhere else. Well, yep, horrible old days. I'm so glad we have now the modern day internet. So I would not want to be going back to it. It was fun in some ways, but overall I much prefer what we have now. Anyway, I'm finishing up there. Thanks all for jumping in, and I will catch up with you later. And in the meantime, take care. I'll see you next time.